Hello, scholars! Today, we are going to explain the life cycle of different animals and how animals interact with their environment or ecosystem. We're going to explain how they interact with the living factors and non-living factors in their ecosystems. Let's start again by reviewing some vocabulary. The first word we're going to examine today is metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is the process of an animal going through different stages of life. For example, frogs go into metamorphosis by starting as an egg, hatching into a tadpole, developing into a froglet, and then finally into a full adult frog. Butterflies and other insects also go through metamorphosis. The next word we're going to explain is environment. Environment is the surrounding area of an organism. This includes living and non-living factors. We're going to talk about how organisms impact their environment or change their environment this week. Animals change throughout their life cycle, and how they impact their environment also changes. To start, we're going to learn about how some specific animals change throughout their life cycle. Remember to open up your workbook that you had yesterday and scroll down to day 2. It's asking what is metamorphosis and then what are these stages. Hopefully we'll learn as we watch this video.
Metamorphosis, that means change. Rearrange and switch up the game. Some animals like frogs and insects change as they grow before and after effects. Metamorphosis, that means change. Rearrange and switch up the game. Some animals like frogs and insects change as they grow before and after effects. I was sitting in the park watching a caterpillar. He had hatched from an egg a few days ago. He was sitting on some leaves. He was eating nonstop. Then I wondered where all that food goes. Then I came back a week later and he got bigger and even shed layers of skin. Real? This is known as the larvae stage. His metamorphosis was soon to begin. So a few days later, I decided to check back, but I couldn't find where the caterpillar was at. But I found a cocoon underneath the leaf. I didn't want to make noise, thought that he was asleep. Then my mom explained it was going through some changes inside the cocoon. It does rearranging, growing wings, legs, and even antennas. This is the pupal stage, no longer a beginner. Metamorphosis, that means change. Rearrange and switch up the game. Some animals like frogs and insects change as they grow before and after effects. Metamorphosis, that means change. Rearrange and switch up the game. Some animals like frogs and insects change as they grow before and after effects. So a few days later, I decided to go back. That's when the cocoon began to shake and crack. A beautiful butterfly flew out and landed on me. He was now an adult. What a sight to see. Oh my gosh, I can't believe my caterpillar friend turned into a beautiful butterfly. There he goes. Bye.
So how did the butterfly in the larva stage, or as a caterpillar, change into a butterfly? Also, how did it affect the plant differently? If you saw in the video, what was the caterpillar doing to the plant? And then when it grows up to be an adult butterfly, what do butterflies do to plants? We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Butterflies are helpful in a specific process. See if you can remember it. Go back to lessons from week 4 if you want to learn a little bit more and reflect on that. Let's watch the rest.
Watching frogs at the pond when I noticed little animals were swimming around. They didn't look like fish, but they didn't look like frogs either. She tells me they're tadpoles and like caterpillars, hatch from an egg like we already know. And their only one job is to eat and to grow. Tadpoles go through changes as they grow up. I watched for a few weeks and it went as such. They sprouted legs and their tails disappeared. That's just how certain animals are engineered. Now they're all grown up. They are adult frogs. They got to hop in on the land and the story goes on. Metamorphosis, that means change. Rearrange and switch up the game. Some animals like frogs and insects change as they grow before and after effects. Metamorphosis, that means change. Rearrange and switch up the game. Some Some animals like frogs and insects change as they grow before and after effect. Change of the game, grow and rearrange is a process known as metamorphosis. Start out as one thing and end up as another. It's a process known as metamorphosis. Change could be good, change could be great. The same way we go bigger from the things that we hate. One way before and another way after, like a book going to another chapter.
So with that information, we can answer some of these questions. What are the different stages called? Well, let's look. So these animals start as what? And then they turn into what? And then they become what? And then what's the final? Go back and watch the video if you need to review what those different stages might be called. Then, how do they affect the plant? So these two animals affect plants differently. The butterfly is a pollinator, whereas the ladybug protects plants by eating aphids that might damage it. But in their larva stage, both those animals, they eat the plant. So far we've watched and learned about metamorphosis. Humans don't go through metamorphosis because they stay humans for their whole lives, whereas frogs and butterflies change from caterpillars into butterflies or tadpoles into frogs. There's a big difference between the baby of the animal and the adult. Humans don't change that much. They stay and look like humans their whole life. But humans still impact their environments. We're going to watch a BrainPot video to see how humans change or alter their environment. Much like the butterfly and caterpillar changed its environment, some things can be positive and some things can be negative to the environment.
Look at all this trash, Moby. Dear Tim and Moby, people keep telling us to save the planet. But what can I do to help the environment? From Bjorn. That is a great question. 3 of the best ways I can think of are conserving, cleaning up, and chiming in. Conserving means using less of things like energy and manufactured goods. Cleaning up means cleaning up after yourself for sure, but also after others when you can. And chiming in, that means you should speak up about protecting the environment. Well, for many thousands of years, humans have been using the Earth's natural resources, things like the air we breathe and the water we drink. But we've only made a major impact on the environment over the last 200 years or so. For example, we began burning fossil fuels like coal and petroleum during the Industrial Revolution of the 18th and 19th centuries. Not only was this the beginning of pollution as we know it, it also marked the start of a huge population boom.
So Tim said pollution. Pollution is making the water or air dirty and unusable to humans and other animals.
Between 1800 and the present, the world population shot up from 1 billion to 7.7 billion.
Wow.
The more people there are on the planet, the more natural resources we use, the more chemicals we release, and the more waste we produce. Well, there are lots of reasons why this is bad for the planet and us. For instance, whole forests have been cut down in order to produce wood for homes, furniture, and paper. Destroying forests also destroys the homes of animals and other wildlife, which can cause organisms to go extinct.
So not only do we kill plants, but the plants are homes to a lot of animals and also fungi and archaea and bacteria, and we kill them all too when we chop down the trees.
Trees themselves are important to our health. Plants get rid of carbon dioxide and produce the oxygen we breathe, so we need to have them around.
Just like we learned in our photosynthesis lessons, plants make oxygen for us, but also make energy for other animals and us to eat and use.
To have them around. Yeah, lots of the stuff we buy every day messes up the planet too. Take the plastic containers that so many things come in. It takes a lot of oil to make just a little plastic. Oil and other fossil fuels are non-renewable sources of energy. There's only so much on the planet. Plus, when these fuels are burned, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane are produced. These pollutants don't just damage our atmosphere and our lungs, they also contribute to global warming. That's an unnatural increase in the world's temperature that scientists agree may soon have drastic effects on the planet. You got that right. Humans make a lot of waste. In the United States alone, every person produces about 2 kilograms, or 4.5 pounds of trash every day.
Wow.
That's over 725 kilograms every year. Most of our trash ends up in landfills. Landfills usually do a good job of keeping pollutants from getting into the ground, but it can still happen. Garbage can sit in a landfill for hundreds of years or more before it decomposes. And some of the things we throw out, like batteries, bleach, medicine, and other household items, can be really hazardous. Right, it does seem overwhelming sometimes. But every person can make a real difference. So let's go over those 3 C's again. First, try to conserve. Simple things like turning off lights you're not really using or turning your thermostat down just a few degrees in the winter can save energy and decrease fossil fuel use. Another easy thing you can do is buy less stuff, especially things that come in unnecessary packaging. Next is cleaning up. It seems pretty simple, but just putting your waste in the right place can make all the difference. Garbage not only looks bad, it can leak dangerous chemicals into the ground, which can eventually get into the water we drink. You can also try to find a volunteer group in your area that organizes trash cleanup days in parks or along highways. Lastly, you can chime in. Tell your parents and friends how important saving the environment is to you. You can ask them to try to get their energy from companies that sell environmentally friendly fuels, things like wind power or biodiesel. You can also make your voice heard by writing to your local and national government representatives and telling them that you support environmentally friendly practices. This is our planet, and we have to take care of it. Wonder how long it'll take us to go through the whole beach. Hey, that's not garbage, that's my towel.
So they went through a lot of negative things in that video. If you want to look at some more positive ways we can impact the environment, you can watch these 3 videos. They talk about some negative things that humans have done and also some remedies, some ways to fix the problems we have created. Finally, there's an optional hands-on activity that you can do at home. Using materials you have in your house that you might throw away, like cans, bottles, boxes, create something new. If you need some ideas, I've included 2 in today's links. So you can find a plastic bottle planter to plant some vegetables or flowers, or you can create a bottle rocket. Both are great ideas and can be fun. But use your creativity and come up with something brand new, something that you can use or your parents can use, and I'd love to see what you have. So make sure you share it in the Flipgrid that I've linked down at the bottom of this lesson. Today, we explained what metamorphosis is, how some animals change completely from when they are hatched from their egg to an adult. We looked at frogs, beetles, and butterflies and how they all go through metamorphosis. Humans and other animals, especially mammals, don't go through metamorphosis. They stay the same for their entire lives. We also examined how these changes impact the environment. We talked about how, as a larva, caterpillars eat plants, but when they grow up to be a butterfly, they can help plants by pollinating them. We also talked about how humans impact the environment and how their impact on the environment has changed a lot over the past 200 years. I hope you learned something new today, and as always, stay safe, stay awesome, and learn something new.